India is a country with a rich heritage of traditional textiles like Banarasi, brocade, Chanteri, Maheshwari saris, Jamdani cotton saris, Kashmiri woolen shawls, etc. Each type of Indian textile has unique features in terms of the fibers or raw materials used for production, weaving, and dyeing techniques. Okay. So in the next slide, we will get to see the images not clear. Sorry about that. Now only I get to know the image is not clear. So Kasavu. Kasavu is from Kerala. We all know Kasavu sari, right? Settu sari or Kasavu sari. Yes, we used to wear it, or most of our parents or sisters used to wear these kasav saris during Onam celebration or any auspicious occasions, during auspicious occasions like visiting temple the day before their marriage or in the morning and all. Right. So kasav sari or set sari really plays an important role in the heart of all Malayalis. Am I right? So we can make a skirt and top blouse out of it. We wear it as veshti and mundu, right? Veshti and mundu, and it can also be worn as sari, set sari or set mundu, right? Yes. So Kasava. Kasava is really special for Kerala, Malayalis. So it's our product. Kasava sari or set mundu, set sari is our product, which belongs to Malayalis, which belongs to Kerala. When we go to Tamil Nadu, Kanchivaram saris. Kanchivaram sari. Like that, we will get to see a lot of examples here. So when we go to Mysore, Karnataka region, Mysore silk. All of you might have heard about Mysore silk, Mysore santal. At least you would have heard about Mysore santal, right? Mysore santal oil, Mysore santal soap, Mysore santal itself. And we know, of course, we know about the palaces, the kings and the tradition, the history, right? So Mysore, when we go to Mysore, Mysore is famous for its santal products, and of course, Mysore silk. It's really different from all other silk, but yet Mysore silk. Okay. Yes, Kalamkari, Andhra Pradesh. Two different types of Kalamkari fabrics are there, Machilipatnam and another variation, Kalamkari, two different styles of painting. When it goes to Tamil Nadu, Kanchivaram silk is there. When we go to Telangana, Pochampilli, Ikat fabric saris are there. When we go to Chhattisgarh, Kosa silk is there. Sampalpuri sari. Sambalpuri sari. Have you ever heard about Sampalpuri sari? Just like these Kasava sari is very important for us, right? It lies close to our tradition. Just like that, Sambalpuri sari is very special to Odisha people, Orissa people. Okay. So it's a traditional wear. It's a traditional design sari. Sampalpuri sari. Okay. Then when we go to Jharkhand, we have Kuchai silk, Jamdani is there in West Bengal. In some of the, you might have seen this red and white combination sari, which these West Bengal or Kolkata people used to wear during this Durga Puja. Have you seen those images? Durga Puja images. Durga Puja is a very important event at Kolkata or West Bengal. In Kolkata and West Bengal, it's a very important event, Durga Puja. So these people used to wear, women used to wear these red and white combination sari. Have you seen the movie Devdas, starring Shah Rukh Khan and Aishwarya Rai? In that movie, Aishwarya Rai is wearing this white and red combination sari, traditional wear of West Bengal. Okay. Okay. Then if we go to Nagaland, Naga shawls are there. So, not only Naga shawls, when we go to this northeastern region like Assam, Nagaland and all, a lot of tribes are there. In our place also tribes are there, but these people in the northeastern region, they still cherish all these things. So these tribal people, based on the tribe, there is Ankami tribe, there is Naga tribes, there is Naga Ankami tribes, like that, multiple tribes are there in Nagaland, Assam, and this northeastern region. Okay. And all of them follow different and similar techniques to and different patterns to weave their garments, which is similar to the dhoti and shawls, or the set, or what is veshti and munda that is there. So which is in silhouette wise or in the structure wise, it is similar to that only. And these things are woven in separate 2 or 3 pieces. So based on the tribes, the designs vary. Based on the religion and the gods they worship, the designs vary. And based on that, the name also varies. So different tribe and tribal shawls are there, and they have geographical indication and all. Okay. So when we go to northeastern region, a lot of things like Naga shawls, Ankami shawls, Naga Ankami shawls, like that, a lot of examples are there. Okay. Then when we come to Assam, Muga silk. Then Bhagalpuri silk in Bihar. You might have seen chikankari kurtas are really trending right now. Chikankari kurtas are really trending right now in Instagram and all. Chikankari kurtas. Chikankari saris are there. Okay. Textile fiber is basically a thread-like strand that is used for spinning and later converted into yarns and threads. Textile fibers are a unit of matter which is usually 100 times longer than their thickness. So what is a fiber? Fiber is the raw form. Okay, fiber is the raw form. After spinning these fibers together, we make it into a yarn. We convert it into a yarn. Okay. So yarn, fiber to yarn. The process is called spinning. Okay. So the process of converting fiber into yarn is called spinning. Okay. The process of removing the impurities, cotton is a natural fiber, right? It's cultivated in the farms, right? Am I right? It's cultivated. Okay. So there are chances that there will be insects, there will be dust, or any other impurities might be there in that particular crop, right? Yes. So the process of removing these impurities and detaching this cotton from seed, this fiber from seed, it is called ginning. The process is called ginning. And after ginning process, all the impurities will be removed from cotton fibers. And after this process, it will be converted into yarns. Okay, yarns. And after this, these yarns can be used to weave fabric. Yarns of different thickness can be made. When it comes to bed sheet and all, the thickness of the yarn will be higher. It will be thick, really thick. When it comes to garment fabric, the fabric which is used for manufacturing garment, the yarn will be finer. So based on the ply and type of yarns or fiber we are following, the thickness of the yarn will vary based on the outfit. Yes, Nimita.
What is the process called for removing impurities?
Ginning. Ginning, yes. Ginning. Okay. So what were we saying? Yeah, spinning. Yes, so spinning, and we will spin the fibers into yarns. Okay, you have seen charka, right? Charka, the thing Gandhiji used to do. Okay, charka. So charka is something that is used for spinning only in order to convert fibers into yarns. So charka is used for that. Okay, in order to convert fibers into yarns, charka is used for that. Okay, so spinning. Then after spinning yarns, we have yarns in our hand, right? We spin the fiber, and after that now we are having yarns. And these yarns can be used for making fabric. These yarns can be used for making fabric. And also these yarns can be used for making threads. Threads, the threads that we use for stitching garments, for embroidery purpose and all. Yarns, threads are used, right? The threads that we use for stitching garments, for embroidery and all. So yarns will be converted into thread. Okay. So how yarns will be converted into threads? 2-3 yarns will be plied together, twisted together to form a thread. If you have a thread at your house, you can just check it. If you have, just go and take it. We can just check it. If you have, you can just go. Right, now you know how yarn is converted into thread. Okay, when it comes to embroidery thread, 6-7 yarns will be plied together to form an embroidery thread. Okay, so that is textile fibers. Now we know how fibers are converted into yarn, how yarn is converted into thread, and the difference between yarn and thread. Now you know, right? Okay. Okay. Classification of textile fibers. How can we classify textile fibers?
Natural and man-made.
Natural and man-made, right? When it comes to natural itself, there are other different. When it comes to natural fibers, it is again classified into
3. Cellulosic, protein, and mineral.
cellulosic, protein, and mineral. Okay. But when it comes to clothing, but only 2 of them are used for clothing, right? Mineral fibers are not used for clothing. Am I right? Yes. Only cellulosic and protein fibers are used for clothing purpose. Am I right? Yes. So which are the examples? Just give me an example for cellulosic fibers.
Cotton, jute.
Cotton, jute, linen, all of these are examples for cellulosic. Okay. Cellulosic is acquired from, is taken from plant or vegetables. Okay. So cotton is taken from a plant. Jute is taken from a plant, right? Linen, it's taken from flax plant. Am I right? So cellulosic. What about protein? Animal. Okay, it's related to animal. So silk, wool are examples for protein fibers. So how wool can be an example for protein fiber? Because it's the hair, right? It's hair. It's the hair of sheep. Okay. How silkworm is an example, silk is an example for protein because it is taken from silkworm, right? It is created by silkworm. So, yes, protein. So now you know cellulosic and protein. Yes, protein. So what about man-made? Yes, Nimita.
They're classified into 5: cellulosic, protein, mineral, synthetic, and metallic.
Yes, metallic. From which we will be using cellulosic, synthetic, and protein fibers for garment manufacturing, right? Mineral fibers will be used for, examples are like glass, ceramic, and all. Mineral fibers. Glass and ceramics are the examples, right? And when it comes to metallic, Aluminium, silver, tungsten, all these are examples for metallic. Protein is soya bean, polylactic acid fiber, etc., etc. When it comes to cellulose, viscose rayon. Viscose rayon, then modal, tensile, etc. are examples for cellulosic. So, cellulosic and synthetic fibers. Out of man-made fibers, cellulosic and synthetic man-made fibers are used for what? Garment manufacturing. Okay, garment manufacturing. So how so while discussing natural fibers also, we saw cellulosic, right? We saw cellulosic as an example, as a category. Cellulosic was there also. So how cellulosic comes under man-made? How say? So pure cotton, natural cotton fabric. Just take it as an example. Okay. Is it lustrous? No, right? It's a dull fabric. Cotton is a dull fabric. Am I right? It's not like silk. It's not shining. It's not, right? It's a rough fabric. It's comfortable to wear, but it wrinkles easily. Right? It wrinkles easily. So just suppose you want to attend an event. You are going to attend an event in Alappuzha. You're having an event at Alappuzha, and you are planning to travel from Kodungalur or from your house to Alappuzha on the day of event. But after getting ready, after doing your makeup, after wearing your outfit and everything, you're going to travel from your house to Alappuzha, to that particular destination. So is it okay to wear a cotton dress? Is it okay to wear a cotton dress? By the time you reach the destination, it will be like you just came out of your sleep. You just woke up from your sleep. Your dress will look like that. You were squirming, you were turning, shifting, and everything. Right? It will wrinkle easily. How much you try, cotton will wrinkle. Am I right? And after wearing also, it's a huge task to iron. After the next occasion, it is a really tough task to iron the cotton. It's really difficult to make it straight, right? Wrinkle free. So I know you might not be the one who will be ironing it, washing it, right? Starching it and all. Yes, but your mother might know the difficulty. Yes, right. But you know, after wearing it, you know, of course you know how it will look like. So for everything, there is demerits and merits, right? There is pros and cons. For everything, even for us, there is pros and cons, right? Merits and demerits, negatives and positives. So just like that, cotton is also having these positives and negatives. Okay, so in order to overcome these negatives, some of the negatives can be overcome, right? But not everything. So in order to overcome these negatives, these cellulosic fibers will undergo chemical processing. In order to overcome all these negatives that is there in the natural natural fibers. Okay, 1 minute. And that's how man-made cellulosic fibers are made. Some mixing and everything. Natural. Not natural, cellulosic man-made fibers are made. Okay. And yes, now you know what is cellulosic man-made. So it's not natural, right? It undergoes a lot of processing and through a lot of chemical treatments and applying a lot of other things, we create a fiber which is having these properties that the cotton, natural cotton, linen fabrics or fibers doesn't have. We are creating a new fiber. So that is man-made fibers. What about synthetic fibers? What about synthetic fibers? How it is different from man-made fibers? Man-made cellulosic fibers. How is it different? It is completely synthetic. No cellulose, no protein, nothing. It's completely synthetic. Okay. Just think like you are having a polythene cover, a polythene kit. You just melt it. You just melted this a few n numbers of polythene cover. You just melted it. You just added a dye, a blue or green color. You just passed it through a shower head. You made a few yarns out of it, and you just weaved it into a